Alright, welcome back once again to part 4 of Road Warrior Ripoff Week. I want to get right into it here, so let's not waste any time. Today's movie is Cherry 2000 from 1987, a movie that had sort of a troubled release history. You see, this movie was actually shot in 1985 and was intended to be released theatrically the following year, but the movie's release date got postponed several times, most likely because its distributor, Orion Pictures, had no idea how to market the film. And when it was ultimately released theatrically late into 1988, to say it flopped is an understatement, grossing $14,000 at the box office on a $10 million budget. Holy shit! You know, it might as well have made $0 at that point, because how do you recover from that? You may as well have just taken $10 million and throw it all away. Flush it down the fucking toilet. Oh my god. Now, despite being one of the biggest financial flops I've ever seen, the movie did eventually find more of a cult following on video and late-night television screenings. It's also notable for starring Melanie Griffith in the title role before she became a big actress. In fact, the whole reason this movie ended up getting released at all was to bank off Melanie's success, as she'd started to become a much bigger actor at this point in the late 80s. The plot involves a dystopian future set in the far-off year of 2017! Just like Blade Runner. And Akira, and Rollerball. Well, actually, no, Rollerball takes place in 2018, but you know what I mean. How come all these futuristic movies feel the need to take place in the 2010s, as if the filmmakers would never live to see that day? At least our last movie knew well enough to set it in the year 3000. I mean, at that point, we'll all be dead anyway, so does it really even matter if the movie predicted the future correctly? In this future, however, the decline of sexual activity between men and women has gotten so severe that now love as we know it no longer exists and is purely business. If you want to hook up, then first you gotta sign a contract from a consent lawyer. And hey, he's played by Lawrence Fishburne. Weird seeing him so young here. So our main character is a guy named Sam Treadwell, played by David Andrews, who's mostly known for the Stephen King movie Graveyard Shift, and this. And that's about it. He's got a robot girlfriend named Cherry, the model Cherry 2000 of the movie's title. She's played by Pamela Gidley, who was also in Thrashin', a skateboarder movie, and Highway to Hell, a pretty interesting and underseen horror comedy from the early 90s. That movie might actually be worth doing a video on someday. Sam comes home from work every day, only to be greeted enthusiastically by Cherry, who always has his favorite meal waiting for him. A cheeseburger and french fries. Well, at least now we know this takes place in America. No! What are you doing? You didn't even touch the burger and fries yet! Shit's gonna get cold! The makeout session is short-lived, though, as it seems the dishwasher was getting a little more leaky than this guy, causing Cherry to short-circuit. Well, what did you think was gonna happen? She's a robot. Can't get robots wet. Unless you're blowing a load on her, that is, which I'm pretty sure he's done plenty of times. Also, I think Sam should be glad this didn't happen while he was balls deep inside her. Otherwise, it'd be like some Five Nights at Freddy's spring lock shit on his dick. Ooh, that wouldn't be good. He takes her to a mechanic to have her repaired. Here's to hoping he doesn't have to booze her up first, though. The mechanic ends up having to give Sam the bad news that Cherry is shot and can't be repaired. We learn that the Cherry 2000 is actually a very rare model and can't just be replaced. He offers to give him a new model free of charge, but Sam isn't having it. To him, it's either Cherry or nothing. His work buddies try to cheer him up by bringing him to a nightclub. Yeah. Some exposure to real women would probably be good for him. The Glue Glue Club? Or the Glue Glue Glub? The Clue Clue Club? I don't fucking know. Wow, look at all these vast arrays of crazy characters in here.
Yeah, and they added even more for the special edition.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
Look at this girl. What is she supposed to be? The Spot from Spider-Man? Yeah, I guess, but like the female version. Speaking of females, the Glue Glue Club might also be classified as hot chick heaven because there's such a vast array of many beautiful and tough women that it'll make you love the movie even more.
This is me and Steve. I think that's Steve.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Thanks for showing me that. That totally makes me feel better. Hey, what do you say I buy you a drink or something? Well, Sam ends up going home. Gee, I wonder why. I guess exposing him to a bunch of sluts didn't make him forget about his true love. Which, to remind you, is a robot. But okay. You know, speaking of things this movie predicted, the whole idea of AI girlfriends doesn't really seem too far-fetched nowadays, does it? His mechanic buddy informs him there may be another Cherry 2000 model, but he has to go to a treacherous wasteland robot graveyard in order to get it. And if he puts Cherry's memory chip in that model, then he'll get her back good as new. The only problem is that all the terrain outside of the city limits is lawless no man's land. A barren wasteland filled with outlaws and savages. He decides to enlist the help of a bounty hunter to get him there. This is Edith Johnson, or just E for short, played by Melanie Griffith. And for the longest time, I had always assumed that she was the Cherry 2000 of the title. I mean, can you blame me? Look at her. Not only is she the main focus of the DVD cover art, but her hair is way more red than that of Cherry's. If any character had the potential to be named Cherry, it's her. This also means Sam would rather risk his life in a treacherous wasteland than date a real woman. Holy shit. We're reaching some real incel level territory here. After having no luck with some other bounty hunters, he ultimately agrees to let E bring him there. I like how he puts a helmet on again. Again, just like in Firebird 2015 AD, that's really not gonna help much if you're getting fucking shot at. I like the locations they use here. A lot of this movie was shot on location in Nevada, and parts of it really do look post-apocalyptic. It almost reminds me of something you'd see in a Fallout game. They end up coming across a band of ruthless outlaws led by a guy named Lester. Yeah, Lester the Unlikely. Played by Tim Thomerson. He's a cult leader that runs a heathenistic sect out in the desert. We learn he actually owns and watches over the robot graveyard. So it looks like our heroes will have to be real stealthy if they want to get in. Their car ends up getting picked up by a crane, and what follows here is a pretty decent action scene. They end up getting dropped into a water-filled chasm that almost looks like some kind of ride you'd see at a water park. Could you imagine? Imagine if Water Country or some shit had a water slide like this. They end up meeting an old-timer in there, who's also one of the bounty hunters Sam was in search of earlier. Six Finger Jake, played by veteran Hollywood character actor Ben Johnson, who you may remember from The Wild Bunch, as well as many other classic westerns.
You gonna tell me what you and Speed are doing out here?
Just going into the yard to get one of those sex robots for Sam. His old one broke down from overexertion, it sounds like.
Okay, that's actually a good joke. I mean, hey, realistically, he's got a real woman right there. Makes this whole excursion feel kind of pointless, don't you think?
Yeah, right.
I'm joking, of course, but the way they're looking at each other makes it seem like the movie may actually be going in that direction. They end up getting ambushed in their sleep by Lester's goons and aren't quite as lucky trying to escape this time. Sam gets hit over the head and ends up waking up the next morning where it's made clear he's been taken to Lester's desert commune. We learn his ex-girlfriend is also there and is part of Lester's cult. Whoa, this dude dated a real woman? That's actually kind of shocking. Look at this place. It really does look like an outdoor water park of some kind, doesn't it? Water Country. The Homicide Edition. Sam ends up getting rescued by Edith and Jake, but not before blowing up the place with some makeshift Molotov cocktails. Or Molotov gas canisters? Whatever. No! He blew up Lester's bees! Wait a minute. Why the hell does he have bees? What purpose could bees possibly serve in the middle of the desert? Meanwhile, on their way to the graveyard, Sam tells Edith that he thinks he's lost Cherry's memory chip, meaning he won't be able to put her old memory back into the new body. Oh no! Whatever will he do? Oh. Well, yeah. That seems like the most obvious solution, honestly. We learn, however, that E actually has Cherry's memory chip and was hiding it.
Hi, honey.
You lied to me. You can say a lot of things about Cherry, but she never lied.
Ah, well. Welcome to real-life relationships, bud. They end up making their way to a guy named Snappy Tom, who owns a place in the middle of the desert that's apparently both a gas station and a whorehouse. Sounds like a classy place. He's played by Harry Carey Jr., again, another character actor. I guess this desert is just roaming with old Western character actors. Ew. Why is his girlfriend so much younger than him? This guy clearly read a bit too much into the Jeffrey Epstein book of dating morals. They end up borrowing a plane from the guy, but I guess part of the deal means they also have to fix it up for him first. Turns out Tom is also in cahoots with our villain, which, I mean, just looking at these two, I'm surprised our protagonist didn't figure that out sooner. Lester arrives, and Jake ends up getting killed in the crossfire. No, not Jake! He never told me the recipe for his snake casserole! Sam and E end up escaping, and Lester doesn't seem too happy they lent him that plane.
I don't like what I feel. I feel anger. I'm experiencing anger, Snappy.
Tom's girl here tries to make it up to him by making Lester some lunch, but you're too late. He already got drive-thru on the way here.
You need to work on your personality.
How do you expect her to work on it now? So it turns out the graveyard is in what's left of the ruins of Las Vegas. Now these definitely aren't the greatest miniature effects I've ever seen, but this is still a cool little piece of world building, everything considered. Also, speaking of Fallout earlier, now this ruined Las Vegas really seems reminiscent of it. They make their way in to retrieve the Cherry model, maybe play a game of blackjack while they're at it, but they better hurry up. Lester and his goons just got there too. But wait a minute, what did they even need the plane for, if Lester and them can just drive here in about the same amount of time? Guess they just thought it looked cool. Man, they better not touch too many of these things. They're worth a hell of a lot more if you keep them sealed in the package. They end up finding Cherry and put the memory chip back in her, and she acts as if nothing happened.
Hi, honey.
She's not even concerned about where they are.
Honey, I'd really rather be watching this on television.
That's actually pretty funny. She's only programmed to be a good partner, so when faced with the serious nature of a situation, she's just left clueless. They make their way out of the place, all the while being pursued by Lester's goons who look like they wouldn't be out of place in Hard Ticket to Hawaii. During their escape, they encounter Lester, and Sam shoots him down an awning. But they should have known better. It takes more than that to stop Tim Thomerson. They try escaping in the plane once again, but can't take off, as with 3 people in the cockpit it's just too heavy. So E decides to sacrifice herself to save the 2. But he can't just leave her there. Sam's gotta know what it's like to bang a future Oscar winner.
Cherry, I want you to get me a Pepsi.
Sure.
Surprised he didn't ask her to get him a cherry Pepsi.
A Pepsi?
You know, for a movie called Cherry 2000, Cherry really isn't in it all that much. Like I said earlier, it'd make more sense to have Melanie's character be named Cherry, as she's present throughout most of the movie. So deciding he'd rather have a real woman over a robot, Sam decides to leave Cherry behind and ride off into the sunset with E. Aw, poor Cherry. If only we could see her take wing! But wait, what about Lester? Well, that was a bad idea. The fuck did you think was gonna happen? Love how he gets impaled on a statue's tits. Aw, Lester. He died as he lived, motorboating some woman he doesn't know.
Miranda, I do like your personality.
And I guess Cherry's just part of the commune now? Oh well, by the looks of it, she'll fit right in.
Pretty.
So that's Cherry 2000. And like I already mentioned, this movie got shelved before getting a limited theatrical release where it did, well, let's just say less than profitable. However, over time, the movies managed to gain a small cult following due to home video rentals and late-night TV screenings. It's a decent movie, but hard to classify. Is it a post-apocalyptic movie, an action-adventure, a satire, a romantic comedy? Well, it's a mishmash of all these things. And to its credit, it actually kind of works in its favor. Being so unique is probably part of what's kept this movie from fading into complete obscurity. It's got some good actors, a memorable storyline, although it does get a little predictable towards the end. Not to mention, the concept of AI girlfriends and preferring robots over real partners is actually much more topical today than it was back then. We're getting closer and closer to something like this actually becoming a reality. There's some good world building here, and the shooting locations, stunts, and action set pieces are all pretty good. But again, the film's not without its flaws, as it's hard to root for a character who's so adamant to risk his life over getting a new robot girlfriend when there's clearly better alternatives available. It's good for what it's worth, and it's worth checking out. I guess I'd give it 3 deadly boob statues out of 5. So that's it for part 4, and we're getting close to the end here. Once again, tune in tomorrow when we're going to be looking at our last feature, The Lawless Land from 1988. And I guess we can say I saved the best for last. Yeah. Well, this is your host, Billy, and again, thank you so much for watching. Just like before, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
country, water 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 country. Have some fun. Open daily.